So YD Basic Baes, what's going on?
Hoochie heifers.
Hoochie heifers. We are back.
I'm gonna say embrace it.
Embrace it. It's okay. We're back with another episode, and today we are talking about the mess that is my stand-in. Okay, I'm late to the punch because I had so much stuff to watch, and I caught up yesterday. Watched all 5 episodes? 5 that were out, and this show is the most mess that I have ever seen.
Let me just start off by saying love you, okay? Love you, because I'm about to go in on me soon, but I love you. Love you. Because in this show, y'all, the way I want to meet Ming outside, this show stresses me out, but in a good way. Because it's really, really good.
It stresses me out so much. But we're going to get into it, guys. Make sure you join the chats.
You have no choice.
You have no choice.
But we're just being polite.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna just give my overall thought of this show real quick because it's interesting because it's like a body inhabitants, but it's
what?
You could because a body inhabitant because obviously Joe, quote unquote, dies. Maybe, I don't know. And then
I get what you mean.
He's in the other Joe's body, and I'm like,
no, he definitely his body died.
Are we sure though?
Well, because technically Sam. Well,
because the only
I call him Sam. His name's not Sam. His name's Joe too.
Yeah, because technically. They both could still be alive. One could be, they just could both be unconscious. Or, so I don't know if there's this thing where, there's a belief that if 2 people go unconscious or die at the same time, they switch basically. But they could be just unconscious or were in an unconscious state and then just switched bodies. And
child.
Yeah,
we just don't pretend he's not there. He's not alive. Because that Joe flew off the mountain.
But the only reason I'm I don't want to say he's not alive is because everybody in the show speaks as though he is still alive because they're we never found the body. But they won't say that he's dead. Nobody will say that he's dead. Everybody's we can't find the body.
Woot does. Woot said Ming's the reason he's dead. He died. It's he
That's
got
true.
Here.
Whoop said. Who said? Whoop
The only person who is he's not dead. He's still alive. Is Cray Cray. So.
Oh, me.
And can we really go off you, bro? I don't know.
Well, let's talk about Joe. Not new Joe, but old Joe.
Sweet Joe. Oh, stupid Joe. Oh my God.
He just wanted love. He just wanted love.
Listen.
And I feel so bad for Joe because it's everybody, when that whole thing happened with me trapping him in his house and stuff like that, it's everybody low-key turned against you because of the pressure.
Everybody blamed Joe for everything.
Because of the pressure that they were under. And I'm damn, if it takes that for you to just be oh, why did Joe do this? But that's the thing for me. It's if somebody has shown you over and over again that they show up, he's never been late, he's always, he been early, does his job, and then all of a sudden he disappears and all of a sudden everybody's oh, I knew it. I knew Joe was.
I just don't get it because Tong never works. and y'all always made Joe take his spot. And then when Joe did it better than Tong, then it was Joe's fault.
Right.
I never got that. I was like, okay, so tell him to come to work then.
No, because when Powell, the director, was like, if you screw this up, it's over for you. I'm like, how are you gonna put all of this on him? Why don't you get on Tong? But the thing is, what I think is because Tong was so affiliated with Ming's family, they knew that, and they knew that he could do whatever he wanted. And
they ran that whole entire situation. And that's why Tong proposed to May. Let's call a spade a spade. He only married her to get into the family.
And the only reason he was upset with Joe. So he could have perks. Yeah, and the only reason he was upset with Joe is because Joe possibly could have gotten to the family too. And he was like, oh, no. This is my scam.
And that's why I felt bad for Joe, because Joe, he was just so blinded by, I guess he was in love because that shit was not love. Yeah. But I was like, this man called you his stand-in. Mm-hmm. This man literally walked out when Tong told him to jump. Like, and you still like, oh, because he wanted that family so bad. And he wanted literally... The night Ming came in drunk with the mugs, and he was like, oh my God, it's the best Christmas ever. And that man called him Tong. I was like, Joe, this right here should show you that this is the reason he always wanted to do it from behind. This is the reason, because you look like Tong from the back.
She's like, he didn't want to see your face. Like, but
I was like, Joe,
I thought it was so nice that they put in that sometimes love makes you just graze over the most obvious red flags, because there was a point in the series where Joe brought a little brochure or a little pamphlet thing to Ming about like moving into another place because it's bigger, and he was trying to like respect Ming's space, because Ming, being a little bitch, was like, no, I need this space and I need that space. And I'm like, okay, like obviously boundaries are okay. But the reason why you want those boundaries is because you don't want to actually commit to anything with Joe. That was the reason why you were trying to separate everything. But he brought in that brochure, and when Ming crumbled it up, like we hear Joe's inner thoughts, and he's like, I should have saw the signs from then, because he noticed the paper was crumbled and stuff like that. He was like, but I don't like, you know.
And also, Joe didn't know who, like,
he didn't know who he was.
I was like, that's why he crumpled up that paper, because his family owns that whole shit. He don't want you to know nothing about him. I was like, he literally, from the moment he moved him in after like a month, and Ming told him, he was like, we're setting ground rules. Our personal business is our business, but you can't do this. And I was like, that there should have told you that he is not here for love. And poor Joe fell for it every time. And I really feel like they're about to make Joe fall in love with Ming again in a new Joe's body. And that's really going to irk my entire spirit.
No, it's going to irk me. And... it's like, I get, like, the one thing that I do agree with Ming and how he approached this relationship is not saying that he was part of, like, a really, really powerful family. Because I get it. I mean, I don't get it because I'm not a part of a powerful family, but I assume that there are a lot of people who want to get with you just for money. I understand that part. Just for money. And I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I get you don't want to tell him and you don't want to like bring that up. But the thing is, I don't think he ever was going to bring that up. Like, I don't think it was ever going to be a situation where he was going to be like, oh, by the way, I'm part of one of the most wealthiest families in Thailand. Yeah, I think, he was just going to be like, keeping that on the low so he can like, you know, bump you from the back because you look like Tom. That was it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even think he gave a F about telling him any of his business, because he does not want Joe. Like, he never wanted Joe. He was with you, and he said it. He was with you because he couldn't have Tong.
Yeah.
Like, he said it to your face. I think in the last episode he told him, he was, or before he, like, when he locked him up, he was like, yeah, you're right. Like, it's just because I can't have... So, like, he never had any intentions of letting you in on anything.
Right. And even when he approached you the first time, and every time after that, when he was just, like, talking to you, it was always like, is Tong going to be upset today? Is Tong going to be upset today?
Child.
No. Well, he's not. What do you want?
And poor Joe was like, oh, he loves me.
Joe was...
We're moving in together.
Joe was smitten when he accidentally grabbed him from the back that first time. Joe was like, wait.
No, with that shit, when he put him up against the lockers or up against the stalls in the bathroom because he was jealous the sun was in his face, I was like, oh, Joe, you in the trenches with this relationship or with situationship. You're in the trenches, and I need to get you out.
Like, stand up.
I was like, sir, y'all, when I tell y'all, I'm waiting for Son to run interference.
No.
Like, we need an NFL play-by-play, like a pick and roll something. Get him out of this because y'all, I don't care.
No.
I don't care. It's just giving Vegas and Pete. I don't give a fuck.
Son,
I don't care what y'all say. I don't care.
Son is best boy. Son, like, he is. It's big, and, like, this is the type of person, this is the friend that people have that is always looking out for you, but because you're unwilling to see past, like, your own vices or past them rose-colored glasses that you got on, that then Son looks like the bad guy to you because he's interfering with your relationship, but in actuality, he's trying to save
helping you
because he's knows
being a good friend.
And even when he popped up in the restaurant when Joe and Ming were in the restaurant and then got caught by Tong and May, and he was like, do you know what their family does? He was like, I told you, don't get involved with them. Their family.
And here you are.
He was like, if I hadn't been here on a meeting, you would have been out in the streets.
Child. And when Ming had you choked up on the damn wall, here comes Son.
No, you know how.
Even though Son was getting his ass whooped low key to the left, I was so happy that he came in and pulled him off.
I was like,
because he was getting beat.
No, y'all. So I was watching it on the phone with Shaki and Alyssa, right? And it was the fight scene, and I was like, oh, Son gonna whip that ass. Me said, boom. I was like,
but like I didn't expect much because Joe whooped it. But then again, Joe is like certified because Joe wore his ass out in the training session. But it's okay.
I was
Son,
like, no.
Son, you let me know you get down when you need to though. It don't matter.
I was like, no,
it don't matter.
Ciao.
Shit. While we on Ming, let's just talk about Ming. While we on him, because the only compliment Ming himself, because up again, love you. Ming himself, the only compliment he'll get from me is he slayed down that lace outfit at that photo shoot. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, okay. So obviously there's a time skip right after Joe allegedly dies, right?
Yeah, like 2 years.
2 years. And
Cray Cray, Mr. Cray Cray, still living in the house.
So I'm still on the fence about Ming, right? However, and I do still feel like him and Joe should not be together, considering all the things he did to you to get to the point where he is now, where he's actually like, dang, maybe I did like this man. Dang, why did I treat him like that? But at the same time, I'm like,
I'll throw the fuck up. Because fuck that shit. Because you care now. You want to find him now. You wasn't concerned when you had him locked up. That's
the reason why I'm like, I don't know, because it's like you. I guess like people generally don't know what they had until it's gone. But you did so much. It ain't like y'all just had a bad relationship. You did so many things to this man, and he kept forgiving you for it. Mm-hmm. And now that he's dead, now you're like, oh my God.
And your crush with your sister, which is wild. That shit's wild. But it's like, it's just like, like you said, every opportunity you had to remind him that he was second place, you reminded him. Mm-hmm. And it's just really creepy to me how you locked him up and then you were still in his house talking about, I'm waiting for you to come home. Gross. And then 2 years later, you're still living in his house trying to relive some fantasy. Yeah, and gross. I'm just like, am I the only person that's just like Fatal Attraction? Like, you're just obsessed?
But there's also like something that bothers me though, and it's Ming going to talk to that like shaman or whatever, or that prof or the psychic or whatever, that guy, the blind guy.
Oh,
and I'm like,
yes.
So part of me, way back in the recesses of
he said all the way back
Jordie C's brain, I'm like, do you know that this Joe is the old Joe just in the new Joe's body? Do you know about this whole...
Yeah, that creeps me out too.
Do you? Because then if you know, because I feel like he has some type of inkling. So, something is telling Ming that this is the old Joe, but the new model, like the V2.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
it's like he's getting excited about it. I'm just like, oh.
Because the way he looks at him, he's like,
okay.
I feel like I've been in that before. I don't know.
Like, he said, I've been here before. Like, I've seen this before. I'm just like, because at first, y'all, I liked Ming in the beginning. I just thought he just had a stank ass attitude in the beginning. I was like, ooh, you a little stank assy. But to see how quickly he switches whenever Tong's involved, and to see how he always clocked Ming and clocked Joe and used certain things against Joe, because he knows how much Joe loves love. He knows how much certain things matter to him. He knows how much a relationship mattered to him, and he used that to always keep Joe wherever he wanted Joe. That's why he got the mugs. That's why he was like, oh, let's live together. That's why he was like, oh, let's do this, because Tong was unavailable. Yep. But whenever Tong was available for a stank ass dinner, where was Ming? Oh.
But also,
and I'm just like, ooh.
Also, it just so.
He's like, como se dice?
So Son has been going back and forth to Joe's apartment, right?
Yeah, that too.
And
why are you there?
I'm not completely convinced that over the past 2 years, Ming has actually been living in that apartment. Because I'm like, it's like Son, if Son visits every so often, obviously he would have a problem with Ming being in that apartment. I don't think Ming is staying in that apartment. I think that's why keeps tipping me.
Or he knows Ming's schedule too, the same way Joe found out.
But that also tips me off that he might know that Joe is Joe, because I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I feel like the same way. Maybe because I'm just like, I don't want to. Like, I'm not trying to figure out anything just yet because I don't trust nobody.
Child, my brain is firing off at all cylinders.
I'm like, I don't trust nobody because I'm like, why are you here, son? But then it's also like, I wouldn't put it past crazy ass to be in the apartment living there. I wouldn't put it past him. And in the same way, Joe was easily got your damn schedule by giving you a few drinks, I wouldn't put it past Son to figure out his schedule as well, because he's trying to figure out where the fuck my friend go. So I don't know. All I do know is I'm prepared for y'all to make them fall in love again. That's the only thing I feel like is for sure going to happen, because it just gives Vegas and Pete, and I don't care, all the Vegas Pete lovers, I don't care. I don't care. That relationship was like, and now we're here again. Like this man, literally in the last episode, every time Ming was like getting close to Joe and Joe's little heart wanted to flutter, I was like, remember he locked you up. Just remember.
Yes. You know.
Because I literally wanted to, when he brought that plate of food, it just dead ass reminded me of Vegas bringing the noodles to Pete, and y'all don't understand how bad I wanted to come to the screen and smack that bowl out of his hand and send that food flying across the room.
Like, get them big ass noodles out of here.
Bro, I'd rather starve. Like, are you kidding me? I'd rather starve.
But as like a little tangent, I just want to highlight the fact that it's like, except for Son, right?
Yeah.
As we know for right now. Son, and I would say Son and Yim. No, Son, Yim, and JoJo. Like, Yim, the makeup artist, and JoJo, the art team, the chief person. Those are the only people that I see as people who truly are friends of Joe. Can we just talk about how his wife, who else? Pal. Everybody is an op to Joe. Some of them are undercover ops, because the thing that kind of showed Woot and his wife's colors is how they reacted. Okay, let me take the wife out of this, because maybe not. But like how Woot reacted when Joe went missing. It's like, I get that you're mad that like, wow, it's just like, okay, Joe, you're not here. But again, like I said, if I'm thinking of somebody and I'm like, this person is always on time, always here, and your first thought is to think that he's being irresponsible or he's like purposely trying to ruin y'all's career, I'm like, how did you get from knowing this Joe to now having this image in his head? And then on top of that, when he was blacklisted, you were like, I can't do anything for you. And then he was like, well, I have to find something. This is all I know how to do. I'm going to go to this international thing. Y'all were like, no, they're like drug dealers and stuff like that, which is fine, right?
They ain't lying, because where you look at you now.
Right. But my thing is, it's all about how you approach the situation. And the fact that y'all like told him not to do this, right? And then you went as far as to tell him, if you do this, you're not part of my family anymore. Instead of being like, hey, let's find other options for you to work, y'all are just like, no, you're not my family anymore if you do this. And I'm kind of
iffy on that situation, because like they had warned him about that shit several times about working for those companies.
Yeah.
And to do other stuff. And he even I will give, Woot has a horrible way of talking to people. Maybe that's just him, whatever, how he talks to people.
I think he's very shifty to me.
Yeah, he's very but he did warn him over and over again. And I can understand business point of view being like,
right,
I can't, there's nothing else I can do. And him being like, look, if you go fuck with these people, because I don't think when he said that, I don't think he thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So he was just like, we can't do business, because he doesn't want shady business with his business. So I was like, okay, so I am still iffy about it, because even now Woot is still warning the other Joe, don't get involved with such and such and such. he's the reason such and such happened. Like it's like Woot's not. I feel like Woot is just really realistic, probably.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know
I think
because I'm not using how he talks. Because
I think he's probably like the type of person that, because like the way that I'm looking at it is I'm looking at it from the emotion of Joe. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I watched that, I was also like, how dare you tell me not to spy work? Like, I got in my feelings about it. I was like, how dare you not?
My mean ass was like, yeah, listen to him.
I was like, how dare you? I was like, I got blacklisted because of me. And how dare you tell me not to go get work? But that's an Aquarius thing, though. But
yeah. But then also because of how powerful Ming's family is, that's probably why he was like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I can't do nothing.
Yeah. Like, but hopefully, like, in the next coming episodes, you know, we figure out some more. Because I do feel like Woot is gonna figure it out too. Yeah, I feel like
because Joe keeps showing his hand.
I feel like some people know, like they know what happened, and I feel like somebody in the circle knows what's actually going on with Joe. So, but let us know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think about Joe and Ming's relationship? What do you think about Tong and how he's connected to Ming's bitch ass?
We didn't even talk about him, but we don't have to. Love Mac though.
Yeah.
Love Mac though. But I don't like talk.
Love you, Mac. Response.
I just gotta make it clear, we're separating the actors from the characters, guys. We're talking about the characters. Love the actors.
Did you
no.
Me? I was like, love you, Mac. Respond to our Instagram message. Thank you. But anyways, we're running out of time. Make sure you follow all of our Instagrams, all social media, all this stuff. Everything's linked down below. Support each of us in our separate endeavors as well. And we will see you in the next one. Make sure you exit the chat. Shut up. Exit the chat. Exit the chat. That's what I meant to say. Bye.